Good evening and thank you for joining us. This is Business Today, where we bring you the latest business news within the region. My name is NAHABWE, and let's have a look at our first story. Now, His Excellency Museveni, the President of Uganda, has advocated for the establishment of the Intercontinental Common Market to improve Africa's economy. He made remarks at the final day of the second annual East African Court of Justice Judicial Conference, and our reporter Pedson Mumbele was on ground with more details.
East African Court of Justice Conference has just ended today, and it was graced by the President of Uganda, His Excellency Museveni. Among the key points he said was the economic transformation of not only Africa but also Uganda as a whole.
I request us to stand up and receive His Excellency the President.
What I want from East Africa, first and foremost, is a market. To buy my milk, buy my beef, buy my bananas, buy my whatever I'm saying. The market, integrating the market. Then we can add other things, slowly, but carefully. So I'm therefore very happy that you came for these seminars. These seminars will help us to discuss. I know, I hear that Africans spend a lot of time watching football of European clubs. I've never watched, somebody asked me, which club do you support? Clubs.
President Museveni, speaking at the conclusion of the three-day second annual East African Court of Justice Judicial Conference, did not waste time in asking where African economists are to help the continent grow.
Are there professors of economics in Africa? If they are there, why don't they see this? Even if the politicians didn't see it, but at least the scholars should see it and talk about it. Europe was not transformed by politicians. Adam Smith was not a politician. I don't think Adam Smith stood for elections anywhere. He was a scholar. He saw. Maynard Keynes, he was not a politician. These were scholars. Ricardo, these were not politicians. So expecting politicians, you know what happened with the politicians.
At the same event, the East African Community's Secretary General, Dr. Peter Mathuki, requested the East African Community Court of Justice to assist in resolving trade disputes among the East African Community member states.
The extension of the mandate of the TORs of the East African Court of Justice has been extended to deal with trade issues. And therefore, I urge the judicial fraternity to help us come up with very direct and practical alternative ways of resolving disputes that will make sure that our prosperity in the region grows, but also to increase the trade volumes.
Excellency, under the theme Transforming Access to Justice in the EAC, as we make strides to integration, we need to ensure systematic and coordinated dispensation of justice at both the national and regional levels. It's our obligation under Article 126 to enhance cooperation in legal and judicial matters through harmonization of legal trainings and certification, standardization of judgments of courts, and publication of all reports for jurisprudential purposes.
The second annual East African Court of Justice Judicial Conference kicked off on Wednesday in Uganda, with speakers calling for increased access to justice in the East African region and beyond. Speaking when she officially opened the three-day conference, the Uganda's first Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for East African Community Affairs, Honorable Rebecca Kadaga, hailed the East African Community Judicial Court, saying that the court has since its inception done a recommendable job in passing judgments that have impacted human rights, jurisprudence with the region and beyond, as well as strengthening the community. Pedson Mumbere, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
Thank you, Pedson, for that report. Now, the Uganda Registration Service Bureau and the Anti-Counterfeit Network Africa have put regulations into place to monitor and get rid of fake items from the local market. Now, as one of the campaigns utilized to inform and sensitize the public, the two agencies sponsor the establishment of the agro-input dealers, intellectual property leading and learning the networking dialogue. Let's have a look.
So remember, buyers are not interested in you, they're interested in the product.
The conversation intended to close the gap between individuals who are impacted by or have an impact on the counterfeit space, while raising awareness and strengthening government agencies' capabilities in the battle against fake agricultural imports. It draws a sizable participation of farmer groups from all across the nation, including policymakers and representatives from the state agencies, among others, whose presence was crucial for debating the pertinent topics.
Government has set up a policy and legal framework to support the fight against counterfeits because of the corrosive effect of counterfeit products, not only against public health, food security, but also you're looking at security itself. The shadow businesses that support illegal activities and criminal enterprise are mainly funded through counterfeiting. So one of the institutions set up as the Uganda Registration Services Bureau, which has a mandate to enforce the law against counterfeiting, which is comprised in the trademarks laws that we have now.
We believe that we need not to leave the problem to government. We as consumers, we are also a public resource. If we the consumers do not provide a market for counterfeits, there will be no counterfeits on the market. But because we are providing a market for counterfeits, then we are making it very expensive to chase around for these counterfeiters, to arrest them, to prosecute them. Let us just stop buying counterfeits and there will be no counterfeits on the market. So it is a very big problem that cannot be solved by one agency. It cannot be solved by UNBS alone or URSB or Uganda Police or Judiciary. It is a problem that has got to be handled collectively by all of us.
The discussion also enlightened the participants on the significance of registering intellectual property in the area of agri-inputs in order to provide them the knowledge they need to identify counterfeit goods on the market and reduce ignorance of the relevant laws among the current and previous victims, particularly in the agriculture sector.
The most counterfeited product outside there were seeds. 53% of the respondents said it was seeds. That means 5 in 10 we are finding fakes. The next most counterfeited were pesticides, and the answer was given by about 24% of the respondents. So I will say every 2 out of 10 was finding a fake pesticide when they bought.
Whenever they take our inputs like seeds, definitely it goes back down there and it normally creates a bad name, especially to our company. Definitely, that's why we are here on this training with all these stakeholders, that with the intellectual properties and with the URSB, we are able to really register our companies and try to fight these very, very counterfeits. So mainly, people are not aware. Sensitization needs to be done among all the stakeholders, right away from the farmers themselves, to know how to identify the right product on the market.
The conversation provided a focal point for upcoming trainings, workshops, and media campaigns designed to educate the public about intellectual property laws and rights, as well as raising awareness that battling counterfeit goods is a shared responsibility among the local governments, law enforcement, and the judiciary. Desire Nambiru, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
Thank you, Desire Nambiru, for that report. Now, moving on, the insurance penetration rate in Uganda has remained under 1%. The Insurance Training College, in collaboration with accountable stakeholders, held a conference with the goal of covering the market gaps within the sector and also enabling the industry players to adjust their general outlook and understanding of the insurance market. This came up with potential solutions. Let's have a report.
The insurance sector has continued to grow positively over the first half of the year, highlighting the sector's fortitude in the face of weakening macroeconomic conditions and a decreasing economy. According to the information made public by the Insurance Regulatory Authority of Uganda, the gross written premiums for the sector increased from 600.105 billion in the second quarter of 2021 to 711.63 billion shillings in the second quarter of 2022. This was an increase of 18.58% compared to the reporting period.
I would like to urge you, all of you, to support the insurance sector. Not many people appreciate the role of insurance. You must continue being aware and make the Africans appreciate that insurance is important, is valuable. Many of them look at it as an unnecessary cost. Most of the people pay third party because it is compulsory. The law requires everyone who has a car or a motorcycle to purchase the third-party insurance.
The impact of the COVID-19 pandemic spread to many areas of the economy, including the insurance business. However, this had little impact on the industry's development trend of future projections.
Despite the disruptions that we faced, you realize that the industry has continued to be resilient. I think one of the most adaptable sectors has been the insurance sector. Indeed, we have not seen a drop in our performance. The growth was slightly affected, but we continue to have a positive growth in the industry despite the impact of COVID. I think it was an opportunity for us as insurers to reinvent ourselves and come up with better ways of doing business. You will agree with me that ever since COVID hit, we have more products now coming up. Today you can now get third party on your phone, which was not the case then. So we have seen a growth, we have seen coming of new products on the market, and I think there were opportunities for us to pick from the disruption that came up.
It's significant to stress that the business nevertheless fulfills its duty to settle legitimate claims. According to the annual report for 2021 published by the Insurance Regulatory Authority, claim settlement has increased over time despite the difficulties encountered when paying back, as there should be a guarantee that the claim is payable.
We at IRA have established the Complaints Management Bureau. The Complaints Management Bureau is a bureau that was set up to receive and resolve insurance complaints. That Complaints Bureau receives complaints and then is able to take the policyholder and insurance company through a dispute resolution method that then enables us to give you resolutions to those complaints. So that Complaints Bureau is available to the public. You can go to our website and access the section for the Complaints Bureau and file your complaints. If you feel that an insurer has delayed to pay your claim, let us know at IRA so that we assist you to resolve it.
Uganda's insurance sector has grown tremendously over the years, evidenced by the increase in gross written premium from 406.8 billion shillings in 2013 to 165 billion shillings in 2020. The industry further posted 912 billion in the gross written premiums for the third quarter of 2021, basing on the recent report from the Insurance Regulatory Authority. Desire Nambiru, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
The investment portfolio of the Uganda Development Bank has increased to 1.8 trillion shillings, with 7.1 billion shillings given to small and medium-sized businesses. According to Patricia Ojangole, the managing director of Uganda Development Bank, the bank got 26.65 billion shillings from the government and the budgetary allocation for the financial year 2022-2023. The total capital receipts were 86.1 trillion. We have more.
Henry Musasizi, the Minister of State for Finance and General Duties, praised the technical team for its assistance with the integrated financial management system, which was introduced as an enhanced version of IFMS 2022. The government of Uganda has started public management reforms to improve efficiency, effectiveness, and responsible use of public resources, which has been essential for progress in local administration.
Directly contributing to improvements in the accountability, transparency, and combating corruption. The United Nations e-government index indicates that an increase in automation of government processes contribute to a 1.17% decrease in corruption. This is premised on the fact that automation of PFM processes reduces face-to-face interactions between the public sector and the individuals, businesses, and other non-state actors, thereby reducing the ability of individuals to interface with regulated and standardized processes.
According to Ramadan Gobi, Permanent Secretary and Secretary to the Treasury, IMFS was successfully implemented despite the COVID-19, and its update came at a time when budgeting process for the fiscal year 2023-2024 were underway, which will increase their effectiveness.
In January 2021, this was at the peak of the pandemic. But despite this pandemic and its disruptions, the IFMS system upgrade was successfully completed on time and in budget. The upgraded system is officially being launched at a time when we are also aligning our budgeting system, budgeting processes, to the program-based budgeting. And this, therefore, is going to enable us as government to effectively implement this animal code program-based planning and budgeting.
Smart 24 Business Today.
Moving on, we apologize for that small inconvenience. The investment portfolio of the Uganda Development Bank has increased to 1.8 trillion with 7.1 billion given to small and medium-sized businesses. According to Patricia Onjangole, the managing director of the Uganda Development Bank, the bank received from the government of Uganda budgetary allocation for the financial year 2022-2023 a total capital receipts of 86.1 billion shillings for the total capital of the year. We have more.
The bank approved funding amounting 333 billion Ugandan shillings and distributed 237 billion Ugandan shillings. And these are some of the projects which were engaged, contributing to 80% of the approved money. Primary agriculture, 83 billion. Agro-processing, 48 billion. Manufacturing, 180 billion. The investments approved in the third quarter improved the bank's 2022 approval since January to 797 billion Ugandan shillings, registering a 66 increase versus the 479 billion Ugandan shillings approved in the same period last year. This funding will support 201 projects across the country. The total disbursements for January to September amounted to 556 billion Ugandan shillings, more than doubling the 273 billion Ugandan shillings deployed during the same period in 2021. The approvals parameter in the first quarter, 185 billion. The second quarter, 298 billion. The third quarter, 333 billion. A total YDT of 797 billion. Disbursements parameter in the first quarter, 118.5 billion. Second quarter, 200.4 billion. Third quarter, 237.4 billion. Total YDT of 556 billion. Gross loan book parameter. First quarter, 908 billion. Second quarter, 1,026 billion. Third quarter, 1,180 billion. A total YDT of 1,180 billion. 33,060 jobs are expected to be created as a result of the projects whose money has been approved. These projects are anticipated to provide an additional 8.9 trillion Ugandan shillings in output value once they are fully implemented, with 365 billion Ugandan shillings in taxes being paid to the government. Martha Nimsima, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
Now, in order to accommodate the increasing number of tourists visiting Uganda, as well as make their stay comfortable and wonderful, quick development is being made by the lodging facilities. The majority of these foreign visitors stay in and favor of the five-star hotels, and in order to qualify, a hotel must have certain amenities to qualify to be a five-star hotel. Let's have a look.
The hotels will be divided into 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1-star hotel quality categories. But achieving the desired rating is no simple task. The tourism industry's key component is 5-star hotels. Additionally, they enhance the whole tourism experience by providing high-quality facilities and services. The tourism industry and the hospitality industry go hand in hand.
Tourism contributes about 7.9% of our GDP, and of that, 8.9% is our contribution also in terms to employment. Really, as hotels, one of the things I'm most proud of is that we are the second biggest employer of women, second to agriculture. 58% of all our staff are women, and we are also a very big employer of young people. 77% of all our staff are aged between the ages of 18 and 30.
Nearly 80% of hotel visitors arrive for work-related reasons. Hotels must provide business centers with access to desktop computers, printers, scanners, and even photocopiers for them. The following features are required for one to have a global brand.
What it takes for one to be a 5-star hotel, different things. So number one is the location of the hotel. That really factors a lot into whether one is a 5-star or not. The amenities at the hotel. Do you have a swimming pool? Do you have gardens? How big are your conference halls? How educated are your staff? How many have degrees? How many have diplomas?
The hotel can contribute in like 50% of tourism can contribute in cultural wise, visiting to the country and earning the economy to go up. That's what it contributes.
Uganda offers hotels in every category, ranging from 5 stars to 1 star. The 5-star hotels are establishments that provide extremely high levels of luxury and lodging to their visitors. Although there isn't a set ranking system for hotels, establishments that reach or go beyond even the greatest standards for comfort, design, and elegancy are given the distinction of a 5-star rating.
We had the COVID-19 pandemic, which completely floored us. We closed our businesses for 2 years. Just as we reopened in December, now we have had this Ebola outbreak, which is also really hitting us hard. We are having many cancellations. We are having people, blacklisting us from coming into our country. And all this, unfortunately, takes a long time before you can actually rebuild your reputation, before people can feel safe enough. With even Ebola, it's a lot worse because with COVID, it was worldwide, so there was no stigma for our country. Ebola is just us. So there's a lot of stigma incoming here. You are seeing all this news on all the international press, CNN, BBC, people talking about how it has now reached Kampala. Is there going to be a lockdown? Is there not going to be a lockdown?
Apparently, we as Ugandans need to embrace the holiday culture. For this supports our hotel sector, which helps boost the tourism sector, for it contributes a lot of GDP to our country. Meanwhile, hotels are not that expensive. There is market for everyone. Bronia Katsime, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
Business Today will now take a short break. Please don't go away.
24.